The ultimate protection. We can protect against earthquakes and other disasters by being a little prepared, having supplies on hand, and not being caught off guard. What you can't do is protect against death.
I do estate planning a lot, and what that is I deal with wills and trusts. And I do that for a lot of younger families. I do that for older people as well, established people and grandparents as well. But one thing that I hear from a lot of newer families starting out is, I don't need a will because I don't have anything. All I have is debt. And I sit them down, I say, but you have something really more important than money. You have kids. And they say, yeah. I say, who's taking care of your kids if something happens to you? And they look at me blankly. I say, the will is what tells the court who you want to take care of your kids. So one thing that I really want people to take away from this, beyond how great it is to be a father and how even when you think everything's going wrong, it's really going well, is once you become a father, you really need to take on a new role and new responsibilities. And that means planning far, far more than you ever thought you would have to. But one of the things that you really need to plan for is, what if something happens to me? If you're a father, you need a will. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you're depending on what state you're in, you may need other documents. Florida is big on trusts. Texas is big on trusts. And that's something you sit down with an attorney and talk about. But you need a will, and you need it better than the legal Zoom wills. You really need to find an attorney and sit down and talk with them, at least about a will. In New York, we do something called a standby guardianship. If you can't take care of your kids, who's going to take care of them for you? It's really important. It's something that you really need to think about, and it's something that you really want to have a plan for, because the worst case scenario, and my day-to-day is living in the worst case scenario, which makes me really fun at parties, is something happens to both the father and the mother of the child, and then the grandparents and the aunts and uncles are fighting over where the best home is. And all of a sudden, everybody's fighting for the child, but that can get ugly in a court battle. And there's no guidance from the parents of the child, who now can't speak for themselves. It's really important that people make this decision, and they talk about it, and that people know what they want. And the best way to do that is to write it down in a formal document, and that document is a will. And I think one major takeaway is that people need to go out and do that.
Let's face it, people die. And the question becomes, what if your day comes sooner than you expect? Dads, remember, if you and your spouse die, what will happen to your kids? Are you prepared for it? You don't need assets to make a will. You don't need $100K or $500K or $1 million in the bank. The question is, who will get your kids? Make a will. If you're going to protect your kids, make a will.